baby, it's time to ride the funk train. And I'm not going to mince words here. I'm just going to come out and say it that Gravitar Recharged is a game that takes this kind of weird franchise that had, a little bit of a troubled youth. And it, got it on a straight and narrow and maybe went to a couple programs. And over the years, it became a hell of a game. And if it rhymes, it's true. Let's just jump right in. I'm going to say one more thing about the channel. I'm bringing everything back to the Big and Funky Productions channel because I don't have enough time to maintain 2 different websites. And since I've been fired from the Atari Network podcast by that rat bastard John Silverback, John Stoll II, I'm just going to bring everything back home and maintain it on this one channel. Watch this intro and let's watch one of the best games probably on your Atari VCS.
Since the beginning of time, there's only been one website with the Babylons to claim every game reviewed when it came to the Pro System, and that's Atari7800forever.com.
But now it's time to get on that YouTube trip, babies. And who am I? I'm Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, comedian, actor, filmmaker, and I'm going to take you on a whirlwind tour of all things cool about Atari and the Atari 7800 with a podcast, news, even new crap. Baby, are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here. The original Gravitar had a couple of problems. One, it was too dumb looking. I remember being a kid walking through the arcade looking at it, and I'm talking I was a kid, and I looked at it and went, that game's lame. The individual planet stages aren't that bad, but there's something about the solar system screen. It just looked goofy, and by the time that game came out, it looked archaic. Vector graphics weren't cool at that moment. They're cool now, but they weren't cool at that moment. The other thing, it was punishingly hard. Rumor has it that the people that even made this game had to put in cheat codes to test it because it was too damn hard for them. Well, they should have known something. Well, the combination of it not looking cool and it being punishingly hard made this a big flop. They released a 2600 version. It did better because it's actually a pretty good game. The arcade game's a good game too, but even on the 2600 version, there is a selection that you can have that gives you 99 lives. Listen, if you're making a video game out there and one of your modes gives you 99 lives, it's probably too hard. Well, Sneaky Box and Atom Vision Studios, or whatever it's called, they've been cranking out these Recharge games for a minute when this one was released, but this is la creme de la creme. Not only does it look cool, it looks sexy. It uses a lot of dark colors, much like Caverns of Mars, and it eschews the earlier Recharged games palettes of these funky, flashing, kind of disco funk colors, and it goes back into it just like silhouette, almost like cardboard cutout or construction paper cutout art, a lot of blacks, and it looks classy, and a lot of these images contrast nicely when there's these watercolored earths and spacescapes underneath the art. This game looks great. It's simple, but it looks modern, and that's exactly what Atari needs to do to branch out and get people to play their games, because they're not going to have, God of War type graphics, but this is what looks really cool, really cherry. The other thing about this game is it's not that hard. It kind of ooches you into the difficulty. Now, it's tough to beat it, but it's also fun. Not only is this kind of an arcade feeling game, this has more of an adventure type feel. You start out in a solar system, you've got to find the planets. No game is the same. No layouts are exactly the same. So you're going to have every time you play this game, you're going to have like a fresh feeling, like summer's eve. So what you got to do are blow up these planets in the solar system. This makes the sun implode into a black hole. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson would take some umbrage with this logic. And when we are successful in blowing up the planets of the solar system, we slide through the black hole, and we go into another solar system. Not sure what we're doing. I'm sure these people are really awful human beings or aliens or green-skinned big boobied hose. I'm not sure who's running the show, but we don't need to know. This is fun, and this is the ambiguity of these early games that I like so well. We don't have to have everything spelled out. These are obviously space scum people, and we're blowing up solar systems, and I'm sure everything inside of it, even the plants, are evil in these things. Just leave your guilt at the door, dork. So with the game Gravitar, gravity is an issue. Now, if you've ever played the arcade version or the 2600 version, it's a nightmare. You're screaming half the time as you can't hardly control your ship. There's a lot of cheap kills, but this is really toned down in this game. There is, you're fighting gravity in different ways, especially on the planet surfaces. There's one world that's a small like rock, and it draws you into the center. Other ones, you're kind of on bigger planets and you only have to contend with gravity pulling you down. There's also spaceships you've got to infiltrate and get past their defenses and steal intelligence and leave. Somehow that blows up a ship. Again, Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, what? But anyway, we're just going to pretend that happens. When you steal plans, a ship explodes. That's a stupid design flaw. There's also, you got to infiltrate deep space mines on asteroids or space stations, and you blow up these reactors, and you have to escape within a certain time limit. That's pretty fun, and you've got to contend with the walls and stuff. This is very similar to Lunar Lander Beyond, which was just released about 10 days ago. Like I said before, the arcade version of the solar system, when you have to pick which planet you want to land on or which scenario you want to do first, it looks stupid. This is much cooler. You've just got some asteroids you got to duck, and all you have to do is get your ship near the planet, and you'll be sucked in to the orbit, and you'll have to contend with whatever's going on in there. Again, with the Recharged games, there's tons of missions to play through. There's tons of accomplishments that you can ignore, or at least just look at the cool little titles, the little avant-garde titles, and go, that's neat. There's a two-player mode. If you're playing this on the Atari VCS, you can play it with the modern controller or the classic controller, and I'm on the fence with which one I like better. They both perform pretty well. I don't think there's an advantage either way. It's just personal preference. Your ship comes equipped with lasers that shoot out in bunches of threes. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. It definitely defines this game in a way. It comes with a really cool tractor beam that is much more impressive than the arcade version of Gravitar, and the shield, you don't even have to activate it, you just get a free shield. In the old arcade game, you had to hit the button, which was kind of a shield tractor beam thing, and it looked goofy and it didn't really work well. This is a massive upgrade. Now again, this wouldn't be a Recharge game, if especially a later one here, I guess, if you didn't have choices to make in the gameplay. You can choose to only have one ship, you can eschew the shields, or you can sit there and tell the power-ups that you get to piss off. I'm not a fan of the power-ups in this game, so that's one that's easy for me to turn off. You get bonus points if you don't use them. I don't know, the spread shot is so short range, it's really not worthwhile to me. I'd rather just have the stock 3-button burst, and we'll be rocking and rolling until the break of dawn. The music in this game is tremendous. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys remember the Trivia Pursuit for the Wii, but I don't know if anybody even played that, but I love that game, and I thought the background music was great. It's kind of serene, it's laid back. This game is laid back. And I think our maestro that came up with this music, which she does a lot of the Recharge games, and a lot of her music I don't like for the game. This one is perfect. It's laid back. You're not screaming with the controls, flying towards a damn rock face and a cliff, thinking, oh my god, I'm going to kill everybody on board. This is much more chill. Still dangerous. It's still not easy. But it's a lot more chill, and I don't know, I play this game in the morning. I could take a cup of coffee when I blow up a planet. I can just take a sip of amaretto or hazelnut, and I can put the coffee cup back down and get back into it. It's a nice, lovely kind of pace. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how they manufactured it. I just love this game. There's not much
wrong with it. It's a shooter. It's an adventure game. It's science fiction based. And I'm going to say it, this is the absolute best game on the Atari VCS that I've played and reviewed. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope something comes along and knocks it down, because that would be awesome. But this is the game that makes me very happy that I bought an Atari VCS. I love playing Atari games on an Atari system, and that's just because I'm a homer, and this one makes me glad I threw out all that money. It's cheap, $9.99. You can't beat that stuff. I love it. Good God, it's one of the best games I've ever played. I'm not just even being stupid. Pick it up. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. I know a lot of people think Caverns of Mars is a better game than this, but I think we can all agree that Caverns of Mars and Gravitar Recharged are probably 1 and 2 in the series. We may flip them back and forth depending on preference. People that hate those gravity games like Lunar Lander, like Gravitar, like Gravitic Mines, you may be irritated by the control scheme in this game, but it's so kind of laid back. It's okay, you know. It doesn't drive you nuts. You're not constantly fighting gravity in this game. It's just kind of a little oochie. Okay, guys, don't forget, tomorrow night we're going to have Tuesday Tubi movie night, and we're going to, I think the movie we're watching is Horny Teenagers Must Die. Make sure you watch that with Sci TV's Brandon Bishop, the director of Vinnie's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure, and the star of Camp Smokey, Big Luke Walker, and I will sit there and tear this movie apart, or maybe praise it. I hope we praise it. We've been pretty rough on these B movies, but it's Tuesday Tubi movie night, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, make sure you check out Wrestling with Ghost, The Existence Fall of Great American Wrestling, and our movies, The Smoky Mountain Chronicles. Guys, take care. We're bringing back all the Atari stuff and the video game stuff back to this channel. I just can't keep up with the Atari 7800 YouTube channel. I felt like I was neglecting children, splitting my love. It's all coming back. And if you see John Stoll II in Toledo, tell him that the Funk Man's thinking about him.